and I dropped it in the mail.
Good morning and welcome to my channel. So today it's going to be a tough chat because it's a little bit more personal. I put up a few of the procedures that I've had the last few months, and when I mentioned in one of them about my anxiety, a few people asked me to do a video on it because they too were suffering with anxiety. It's a very common thing to suffer with, and so yeah, I thought I would make the video. This is very, very tough for me to make this video because I'm right in the middle of it. But I thought maybe it's the best time to do it when you're in the middle of it and you're not out of the other side of the anxiety. So yeah, bear with me. I might be all over the shop on it. I'm going to try and be as succinct as I can and give as much information about health anxiety, which is what I have, or somatic. It's all about the symptoms of something that you believe in your head to be there, which are anxiety, are brought on by anxiety or triggers. Yeah, right, okay. So I have suffered with health anxiety for years, since I was little. There was a event happened when I was younger. My young friend died of leukemia, and my little brain maybe didn't process it, or the people around me didn't help me process it in the way that it should have been. And from that moment on, I took it that any single thing that was wrong with me was then going to kill me. It was going to be something that would be bad for me. My health anxiety is not about other people, which makes it a very, very selfish feeling. That's why I get a lot of guilt from the selfishness of it, because I do not worry about others. So I'm not concerned. Unrealistic, because it's hard to speak about it. It's unrealistic. It's totally irrational. When I have my child, or my children rather, and they have a cold, I'm completely rational. It's a cold. Here's some Calpol. You'll be fine in the morning. For me, it's completely different. A cold, something that's happening in my body. It's completely irrational. It's something else. And that's to specify that it's to do with me. There are other types of health anxiety that are concerned with other people, worrying about other things. So I can only come from my perspective. And if you're feeling in my perspective, if you know how you're feeling and it's similar to mine, then you'll understand it. If you do not feel the same as me, it's very hard to understand health anxiety. It is ridiculously hard. It was once called hypochondriasm. I think that's how you say it. And it is like, do you know, a standard, or you're just such a hypochondriac. Because you worry about what your things that are happening in your body. But it's when it takes it to affecting your life that it's then become a problem. So in my 20s, I had a massive bout of it, and was really bad. Got diagnosed, had CBT, they did want me to go on medication, I refused. And yeah, I suffered with things like globus hystericus, where you think you've got something in the back of your throat, and I still get that quite regular. But now I am understanding that that is my anxiety and it's not going to kill me. So at the time I thought I had a lump in my throat and that it would be something sinister. And I would sit in A&E constantly, taking up people's time, taking up my own time with worry. That is another reason for guilt and worry, because you feel so guilty that you're taking up people's time. Because I have an anxiety, health anxiety, that is completely two sides. I have a rational side where I know completely, that's globus hystericus, but then I have the irrational side that says, but what if it's not? And it's very hard to let the rational side take over the irrational side. That's how I can explain it. So I will try not to mention things, because I know if you're watching this and you have health anxiety, you're going to be triggered, and I don't want to trigger anybody who's watching this video, because I have watched a million videos and I get triggered. If I see comments in the post, that triggers me then for more anxiety. So I'm going to try not to. The globus hystericus I have mentioned, because that is so common, and if you have a lump in your throat, you must be seen by a doctor. I was seen by a doctor, but they know, trust them, they're medical professionals, they know. So that's why I mentioned this. But other things that I've had and that I'm suffering with, I won't go into a lot of detail because I don't want to trigger anybody. So 20s was a massive bout. Then I've had a massive bout recently, and it was all triggered by, you would never believe this, it was triggered by a urine infection. And it wasn't a urine infection. I had white blood cells in my, I had leukocytes in my urine, but I didn't have a urine infection. That was it. But I still needed to pee constantly. Now, when they said, right, well, let's have a wee look, they went and looked, they found other bits and bobs in the cervix. So then I had to go for a colonoscopy. And there was another few bits and pieces that I had to have treatment for. And it was just worry, worry, worry. I looked up on Google. Do not Google. If you're a health anxiety sufferer, don't Google. But because we're health anxiety sufferers, we Google. So I Googled and I was convinced it was advanced. So I won't give you the reasons why I thought that, but I did. And then it went on and I discovered that everything was fine up in my cervix, but I still had the way to pee. I was then prescribed tablets for overactive bladder. Now, I didn't believe that would work. So I'm still struggling with, I need to pee, I need to pee, I need to pee. There must be something else that's happening. I couldn't get an appointment for 9 months for a waiting list because I didn't have any other signs and symptoms that looked at it was sinister. But for me, I had the feeling, the trigger had already triggered my health anxiety. So I was already on a snowball effect and it just went downhill after that. So had all that. And then the tablets started to work, didn't they? Yeah, because you have to listen to your health professionals. So I'd seen quite a few doctors as well for second opinions, because that is another thing that health anxiety sufferers are very reluctant to believe what a health professional will tell you and will want second opinions, third opinions, fourth opinions. I ended up in A&E one morning, sitting there for 5 hours, waiting to see another doctor for another opinion. It's very hard. The irrational part of your brain just goes for it. Anyway, as I say this, I feel crazy. But when it's in you and you're suffering at the time, it's real. And for anybody who's watching this and you know how I'm feeling right now, it's real. It's real. So, done all that. And then, right smack bang in the middle of it, I needed a flexible sigmoidoscopy. If I said that right, I'm really sorry if I didn't. And that's looking up the bottom. Now, I've put a video up about that as well, and the colonoscopy. Now, that came in the middle, but that wasn't something that was supposed to happen. It actually was something that happened months before, which I hadn't worried about because I hadn't been triggered at that point. So this came just at the wrong time. So then I knew I was having that. And that took my anxiety to another level. When I went, they couldn't see because of poop. So they said, we're going to have to send you for another further one. And it just triggered again. It was just another response. My anxiety just went through the roof. Now, I was phoning the doctor. I think I had a sore back. So I was questioning my back. And that's when one of the lovely doctors said to me, let's refer you to the mental health team because I think there's a little bit something here. Because you're worrying about lots of different things coming and going. So I would have spasms in my back. It would be and he said it can't be anything to do with your lungs. I thought it was my kidneys and that was related to my overactive bladder. But in actual fact, it went away. I'd been playing swing ball. Oh, I'd been playing swing ball for weeks with the boys and that's what done it. But at the time, you can't see that that's the case. Your mental health just is on a downward spiral. And then went for that test and everything was fine. But during this part, suddenly the head pressure started and it moved on to something else. And this is what I've found with health anxiety. You move on very quickly onto other things. So it was the overactive bladder, it was the cervix, then it was back to the back and the kidneys, then it was to my bottom, and then it was to my brain. And I'm still at the moment quite heavily in with the head pressure. And this is like a tight band around your head. Won't go fully into it. Health anxiety sufferers will know this feeling. I've been quite a few times to the doctor about this and they are confident that it is nothing. I had very much a dizzy spell, lots of dizziness. And I didn't have the head pressure before the dizziness, but I had impacted ears, both impacted ears. Went and paid a fortune to get them out, to get them impacted and all of that jazz because we had to travel quite a far distance to get it done. When it got done, the dizziness didn't go. So, yeah, it's very much all related to my anxiety. I've been to the doctor twice, 3, 4 times about it, and they're all convinced that it's all down to my anxiety after 3 months of quite hellish amounts of stuff. So I've paid a fortune getting new pillows, everything, taking magnesium supplements, all of that. But when I went on holiday, it did go and I forgot about it. So now I'm back, it's back again. So I think we can surmise that it's definitely down to my anxiety. But it's very, very difficult because it's there and it's strong. It's a feeling that your rational head thinks, well, yeah, it wouldn't go away when you're on holiday, but your irrational brain says, but what about if it is? So that is where I am at the moment. They have offered me CBT, but it's very, very, very busy. It's very busy. And I have phoned a few times, and because I am not depressed or I don't have any suicidal thoughts or anything like that, I am at the bottom of the waiting list, so I will wait quite a while, I think. I was offered medication, and this is the medication that I've been offered, and I haven't taken it because I really hope to beat this using my brain, using my will to get through it. Now, I know that there's lots of people who use this. I know somebody myself who's used it and works a treat. So it is not for those reasons that I'm not using it. It's because I did it in my 20s and I got through it, and I had 10 years without suffering with health anxiety. So I think maybe I could do it again. And because I'm a health anxiety sufferer, and if you're watching this and you have it, do you suffer with this? I find it very hard to take any kind of medication because of side effects. I Google side effects, I know side effects, and yeah, I know more about drugs than anyone than the pharmacist. And I don't want to take things because I know of these side effects, and I don't want to go down that route, and then I'm scared of the withdrawal when it comes. We are very much overthinkers and overprocessors, and just in a general, just not great with anything like that. Now, obviously, it all stems from a fear of death, and that is where it stemmed from originally. I hate to talk about that, so I don't want to trigger anyone again. If you're watching this, please, I hope you're okay. But yeah, that's where it all stems from, and that is where I am suffering from because I don't want to, and I don't want anything wrong with my body. Now, and then it leads to the guilt and the feelings of there are people who are seriously ill. One of my friends is seriously ill, and the guilt that I feel because I am relatively healthy at the moment, but I can't let go of this irrational brain. I have to always try and remember or remind myself so I don't dip into depression or a low mood, is that mental health is very, very important. Mental health is you can have a sickness in your mental health as well as a broken leg or as a diagnosis of some kind of sickness in your physical body. The mental health is just so powerful. And yeah, I have been diagnosed with a health anxiety, and that is just the case, and I have to be strong and get through this. So this is a video that I'm explaining to you where I'm coming from in my health anxiety. If my videos are up and down, if you don't see videos on my channel, it's generally because I find it very hard to function when I have my health anxiety. I find it hard to go and take my mind off it and watch a video because I can't take my mind off it. My mind is 24/7 on that, which is another thing that your family lose out on you. People lose out on you because you're so focused on yourself that you can't focus on anything else. And as hard as it is, my husband and I had the worst 3 months because he wanted to just beat me with a stick. Come on, stop being so silly. Why are you being so silly? Why are you crazy? Even simple things like weighing myself every day. And if I lose weight, oh, even if it's a pound. So I've gained weight. I've actually gained a stone and 2 pounds because I can't let myself lose weight. And I know that people who are watching this who don't understand health anxiety are just going to think, you're crazy. What are you doing? My husband said it. He lost a pound, I think. And I said to him, why are you not concerned? I couldn't fathom or function how he wasn't concerned. Because he's not got health anxiety. And that's what I have to keep reminding myself. Because he hasn't got that, that is how he functions and doesn't worry about it. Because my mental health and my serotonin levels are probably super low, then that's why I am stressing. But as a knock-on effect, it can then, like, my period didn't come and it was 10 days late. So I was looking at that. Could that be something to do with something else that was happening? And I don't want to say it because I don't want to trigger anybody or give them anybody any extra things. But it then, just because I had Googled it, I knew the connection and I was just gone, honestly. It's so irrational and it's so overwhelming and it's so obsessive and it's so strong. That's the thing, is the strength. So strength. So strong. Can't speak. But yeah. So that is my video on my health anxiety and how I'm feeling at the moment. How I'm combating it is not very well at the moment, really. I'm trying really hard to distract myself, but as I said, it's very, very hard to do it. I have to wait for my CBT. I'm not willing to take the medication at the moment. Maybe one day I will take the medication. But that is how I'm feeling at the moment, and this is where I am at the moment. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I can come back to you in a few months' time saying how I got through my health anxiety and how I'm doing and how I'm living alongside it. Because I thought in my 20s, when I had the massive bout and I got rid of it, I thought, wow, I'm a soldier. I've done really well. I was 10 years. I thought I'll never come back again. And it's back with a vengeance. So, yeah, struggling. But there is hope, there is the future. I was away to Blackpool and I didn't have it for a few days. I did have the dizziness. The dizziness is coming back in only in shops, when I go into shops and it's overstimulated, or like if I'm in the kitchen. It's strange. So it's not here now. It's not here now. It's like if I go in the kitchen or if I go into a shop. It's really, really odd. It's like an overstimulation on my eyes. But I don't really want to talk too much about it because it can get me a wee bit more panicky then and worrying about it. So I'm trying not to think about it, and I'm trying not to Google, and I'm trying not to focus on it. I'm trying not to ask the doctor continually. I'm trying not to look for reassurance. I'm just trying to live my best life and not focus on all of those things. Especially when I seen for myself that I went away and it did go away because I was thinking about other things. So sometimes I would catch myself and go, oh, I don't have that pressure feeling. Oh, and then it would come back because I had been thinking about it then. So, yeah, that's it. Right, this is a long-winded video. I hope you've got to the end of it. If you're suffering with health anxiety, or you have any questions, or you have any tips for me, then put down in the comments below. If you don't feel comfortable to do that, then just email me at lightninglass@yahoo.co.uk, and I would love to hear from you and I can have a chat with you. And yeah, that's it. So thanks for joining me on this video. I hope it gives you a little bit of knowledge about what's been happening in my life in the past few months, why I've been so erratic with my videos, and maybe why I'll be a little bit more erratic in the future. I'm going to try not to be. That's it. Alright, thanks for joining me. Take care of yourself and have a fantastic day, whatever you're doing. Bye, everyone.
On my channel, comment below, press the bell button, thumbs up, thank you.